everyone. This is Henny Espinosa with Just Wish Foundation. Today we are joined by Armand Viscari of Project Hope, whose nonprofit organization helps victims of natural disasters all over the world, including the victims of the Morroco quake. Thousands have been affected, and they have been doing on-the-ground help for these victims. So thanks for joining us, Armand.
Absolutely, Henny. Thanks for having me.
Armand, tell us a little bit about Project Hope and kind of why your thrust has always been to help people all over the world that's been affected by disasters.
Absolutely. So for many, many years, over 65 years, Project Hope is a humanitarian aid global health organization. So our mission is to kind of provide help when it comes to, as you said, emergency responses, disaster responses. And these things are happening on the daily. So obviously, sometimes you can't prevent it, but what we like to do is just be able to provide the support when these things happen. And the thing that makes us different than a lot of other organizations is, you look at the news cycle and there's so many disastrous things happening. You see one disaster and you only will see coverage of it for a week, and then
Mhm.
the media moves on to the next
Yeah,
disaster, but you forget that, the recovery takes months. It could take
yeah,
years. So what
even
Project
years.
Hope
Yeah.
typically does, right, what Project Hope really does is focuses on the long term. So a little bit about the earthquake in Morocco. When the earthquake impacted, we actually partnered with an organization that we're really good, close friends with. It has a presence in Morocco called SAMU. So SAMU is a Spanish emergency response organization, one of our partners that we help fund. And so the first thing they did is conducted search and rescue when they were
Mhm.
there. So they had a lot of search and rescue. Another big thing was mobile medical units. One of the biggest issues that we encountered is because a lot of the earthquake, our team, the SAMU team, was based in Adaisil. So this is a very rural area. So you didn't have a
Mhm.
lot of access to like healthcare, medications, things like that. So we also had mobile medical units there. So aside from doing search and rescue, canine search and rescue, we had a team there that was trying to provide just emergency medical
Yeah.
help as soon as possible. So we had a whole team there. Um, and so
So the
we helped.
partnership was important, Armand, that partnering with that organization that's already there doing the work. That was so important for
Absolutely.
Project Hope.
And that's a lot of the big things that Project Hopes does. In a different area, we'll usually have partners that are there that will know the area better, will have a different recognition, like a presence there already. So we
Mhm.
kind of work together since they would have a better understanding of us. So that's a bigger thing that Project Hope does whenever things happen. If it happens in an area that we might not have a presence in, we try to collaborate immediately with someone that does have a presence with them and try to just come up with a response as soon as
Mhm.
possible.
Let's talk a little bit, kind of just to give people an idea of really the magnitude of this earthquake. Now, this happened what, September 8th, and it
Correct.
was a 6.9 magnitude quake. And, um, thousands have been killed. I guess 3,000 and counting at this
Right.
point. How dire was the situation when you guys came on board?
Very dire. When it comes to these earthquakes and these situations, I mean, time is of the essence if you're going to rescue people that are under rubble, so you have to respond as quickly as you can. Another big thing was this is a very rural area. A lot of the
Mhm.
homes were in these buildings were made out of adobe. So that was another big thing. A lot of
Mhm.
the infrastructure was damaged. And so our goal is try to maneuver ways to be able to get that help as much as we can, maneuvering just all these different areas. And as I said, it was a very, very rural area. People from a lower socioeconomic background,
Mhm.
so it was very urgent for us to be able to provide as much support as we can. And a lot of people are still displaced. A lot of
Yeah.
people lost their homes. There's people that have been living in tents,
Mhm.
people that have been just not having access to water, not having access to the resources that we use day to day. So we've tried to establish those things as well.
Mhm. So the immediate help that Project Hope provides is, as you mentioned, search and rescue. I guess all the essentials, right, to survive. Uh, you know, Immediately, like really make sure that they have what medicine,
Absolutely.
water,
So
food.
what we distribute are called hygiene kits. So
Mhm.
basically, these hygiene kits have just the essential hygiene items that we use on the daily, like laundry soap, water purification tablets, so people
Mhm.
can actually have potable water, drinkable water,
Mhm.
toothbrushes, toothpaste, disinfecting wipes, towel, shampoo, etc. These disasters happen, and it's not like you can just grab the things that you need and run away.
Yeah.
People don't are not able to grab those things, so we try to give people access to those things so they're able to have hygiene. And the best thing about that is, I mean, we need to make sure people have access to water hygiene kits because if
Mhm.
not, I mean, you might also have more sickness,
Yeah.
that will just erupt. And
Yeah.
so we don't want to avoid and have another disaster
Infections.
take
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
exactly when it comes to the health space. And
Yeah.
so since we focus a lot on health, and we want to make sure people have access to medication, access to clean water to avoid any of those things from happening.
You mentioned that this is a rural area. So let's talk about the challenges of getting aid to these people. So getting there in itself was a challenge, right?
Yeah, so this is one of the major reasons why we partner with SAMU, because since they're in Spain, they were very, very close to Morocco. They kind of knew the area. And I mean, just with all disasters, we have a team that's very, very just experts in these things. So obviously, they're kind of used to having to maneuver between roads and things that might not be accessible and just try to find, I mean, you have to be creative in these moments. So just try to find any way that you can get there as soon as possible because time is of the essence to get there.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you find a road that might be blocked, you have to find the one road that
Yeah.
can get you there, I mean,
Yeah.
and you're going through rural areas. So if you're going through dirt
Yeah.
roads, finding damaged roads, I mean, anything that you can do to make sure that you're able to provide support for the folks that were affected.
Does Project Hope have any plans to provide long-term help for them?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things that we're looking into is mental health. We've done assessments as
Mm,
well. And given this, there is a very big mental health and psychosocial service need. You have to understand that there's people that have lost homes, lost
yeah.
neighbors, lost loved ones.
Yeah.
Even with education, for example, there was a story that we had where there were kiddos that they lost a school that they go to and they had to adjust to go into another different school, but just the mental health toll that that can take. So our team is really, really looking into how to provide more of a long-term psychosocial support and services
Mm,
for all those that were affected, because mental health is big. It's kind of like you see the destruction
yeah.
visibly, but you don't think about just the people that were there. You don't think about how
Yeah.
people have lost loved ones, people have lost their homes, people have
Yeah.
been living in tents, and they have
Yeah.
to adapt to that. There are people that, I mean, when our team goes into these places, you'll see people crying, you'll
Yeah.
see people that the minute they see our response, their first reaction is to cry. So the
Yeah.
big thing that we're looking into is making sure that people have access to these mental health
Yeah.
and psychosocial services. And as I said, you're looking at rural areas where there isn't access to that. So the goal is to really provide people with the mental health needs that they have. It's
Yeah.
huge right now. It's of the utmost importance.
Yeah. And I can imagine the trauma that this would have on children, and kind of the long-term impact that would have on them if not given the proper care and treatment. And yeah, it's not just physical hurt or damage in these situations. It's also internal, mentally,
Uh,
emotionally.
A
Uh,
100%. I
yeah,
mean, from our assessments, children are grappling with this situation. And
yeah,
you have to give specialized programs for children. The way you
yeah.
speak to adults isn't the same way you speak to kids. But there's a lot of kiddos that are having to learn how to cope with this
Mhm.
trauma. I mean, as I mentioned, schools were destroyed. To be able to have to transition to a new school system, a new life. I mean, it's just the gravity of a situation like that.
Yeah,
Um, there's been a big focus to provide these services to women, to children,
yeah,
and have the specialized service because it's not just mental health. You have to specialize it
yeah.
to the folks that you're talking to.
The
So that's
culture, yeah,
important.
it's culture
Exactly.
specific. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Um, it, there's so many things happening in the world all the time. I'm sure, Armand, you guys get distress calls all over the world, not just natural disasters. There's just so much chaos all over the world. But why is it so important for the community to really listen and know that there are people who need help? And why is it so important for the community to step up, even if amidst all the chaos, to really focus on where they can actually make a difference? Why is community help so important in your work at Project Hope?
100%. It's about being a humanitarian, caring about another human life is of the utmost important, especially if you have a means and are able to help people, as you say, constantly. You can't avoid disaster to happen. Disaster will always happen. But the goal that our team wants to do is go in there and really build up infrastructure, help people, and help those things when they happen. So you can't avoid it from happening, but you can at least put the stepping stones in place so those things improve, and you really help the infrastructure there. And not just for a week, a day. I mean, we
Mhm.
really do focus on long-term help for these things. And I think it's important because it's just part of being a human, it's part
Yeah,
of being a
yeah,
humanitarian. It's about seeing what's happening. You see all the things in the news and you want to find
yeah.
a way to help. I mean, this is the way you provide that support.
Yeah, I mean, you see all bad things, but good things come out of bad things. And I think human kindness shines through. I guess last question for you, Ramon, is that you must feel good being in this job. You must feel fulfilled knowing that, you're part of this movement, you're part of this organization that truly saves lives or makes a difference in people's lives. How do you feel being able to continually help with the support of the community?
It's amazing. As I mentioned, everyone that works at Project Hope, all our partners, I mean, they are the definition of what a humanitarian is. The passion that you see. I've never worked with such a more passionate group of people. And, and it's because watching the news, seeing the events that are happening, they can get distressful, but it's such an amazing feeling that you see these things that that our team is going to respond. Our team is looking for a way to help. And it happens all the time. Folks like yourself, folks in the media, they reach out to us. And it's kind of just an amazing feeling where they're like, okay, so what is Project Hope going to do? And so it's such a humbling feeling that they come and reach out to us knowing that we're the folks that try to provide the help. So no, we are just fortunate to have an amazing team from head to toe. Everyone in our team is incredibly talented. They are experts of what they do. And all around humanitarians. I mean, just the passion that all our folks have is
that's the word I
absolutely
was
incredible.
looking for. You have to have passion to be in this field, and you have to have a genuine care for people, genuine desire to give hope to people. And for us at Just Wish Foundation, we just appreciate that we're able to continue to partner with Project Hope and support you guys in all your endeavors. There will be probably more disasters. I hope not, but at least there is hope that there are people like you guys that will be there, helping people in their darkest moments. So we appreciate you guys, and we want to continue to support you, particularly in this, Morroco tragedy. And more power to Project Hope, Armand. More power to you and to your team. And we just support you at Just Wish.
No, we appreciate it. We love you folks from Just Wish. We absolutely appreciate it. These things couldn't be possible without support from folks like y'all, from the community. So you all are humanitarians as well. So that's the key word. So we appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Armand. Talk soon.
Thank you. Thanks, Annie. Take care.